Before we get started with today's video, I have an announcement to make. After years of telling other people's stories, I finally released one of my own. My novel Eternal Reign is available now in both ebook and paperback format for those of you who are like me and prefer to collect physical media. You can grab a copy right now on Amazon through the link in the description of this video. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. The Nephilim were the children of angels and demons, and that made them very strong warriors, but they were also very violent. They fought constantly, leaving a lot of destruction in their wake, until they were betrayed by 4 of their own. These 4 would be granted even more power by a group known as the Charred Council, and that turned them into the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse: war, death, fury, and strife. With that power, they were given the job of serving the Charred Council on their mission to maintain balance between the creatures of heaven, hell, and humanity. Of the 4 horsemen, Fury is the only one that the council isn't 100% sure will do their job, since she's a bit unpredictable and kinda violent. That's a problem when the horsemen don't have a mission, since she's not all that good at just sitting around doing nothing. But before she decides to wander off and do something random, she gets summoned to the council. When she gets there, she sees War chained up. While she's curious about why he's there, she thinks it's kind of funny that he did something stupid and got himself locked up. It stops being funny when the council says that he broke the 7th seal and started the end of the world. That doesn't make sense, but since the angels and demons are fighting on Earth, Fury figures that it's time for the horsemen to head down there and start stabbing stuff. That would be what happens under normal circumstances, but the council doesn't want to send them out until after they figure out why War betrayed them and the humans. Despite that, they do have a mission for her. Someone freed the 7 deadly sins, and they're on Earth. The balance between order and chaos is already collapsing because of what War did, so the sins need to be recaptured immediately. Death is currently missing, Strife is off on another mission, and they obviously can't send War. That means Fury has to go. It won't be the first time that she's gone up against the sins, but the last time all 4 horsemen took them down. This time Fury will be doing it alone. She's fine with that, as long as the council makes her the leader of the horsemen once she completes the mission. They don't have a problem with that at all, so they send her off. They want a watcher to go with her though. She doesn't like that since it means that they don't trust her, but the Watcher is more of a fangirl than a spy, so Fury lets her tag along. Before she leaves, War tells her that something isn't right because he didn't break the seal, and he thinks that someone is after them. She doesn't pay him much attention, and instead she heads down to Earth. The battle has destroyed everything as far as the eye can see, but there could still be some human survivors. Fury's not exactly concerned about them, but she doesn't get the chance to look for them even if she wanted to, because she gets attacked by the first of the 7 deadly sins. Envy. Envy is obsessed with taking everything that the humans have. Considering the way the planet looks, that's not all that much, but he still wants it. Fury doesn't care what happens to the humans at all since she doesn't like them all that much either, but she is there to deal with the sins, so she beats Envy practically to death. Her mission is to capture them, not kill them, something that the Watcher points out, but Fury hadn't forgotten. Envy was carrying around a talisman that he was using to hold some power that he stole from each of the other sins. So Fury takes it and locks Envy inside of it. She plans on using that to trap the rest of the sins once she breaks their bodies and forces their souls to leave them. It's pure luck that the first sin she came across was carrying the thing, because she had no other way of capturing the sins without it. But that's probably why the Charred Council dropped her off near Envy's location. From what the Watcher can sense, the talisman will let her know when she gets close to one of the other sins, due to the fact that it has a bit of energy from each of them stored inside. But that'll only work once she gets close, which means she has a lot of wandering around to do in a very hostile place. The Watcher thinks it'll be a good idea for Fury to try and find some allies that she can use to help make her search a little bit easier. The world is overrun by demons, and some of them are always looking for a way to increase their own power. Turning on their own for personal gain is pretty common, so it wouldn't be all that hard for the horsemen to get one of them to pass information to her. One of these opportunistic creatures, a very shady looking fellow named Vulgrim, finds her, since she's not exactly being stealthy while she's wandering around. Vulgrim describes himself as a capitalist. Pretty much anything he can do to increase the size of his wallet is fair game, and he fills his wallet with souls. Whether those souls belong to humans, angels, or demons doesn't really matter to him. He just wants a lot of them. Since Fury's job tends to cause a lot of souls to vacate their bodies, she's not against the idea of buying things from Vulgrim, especially information. Vulgrim's not the only non-hostile person that she comes across. A small group of makers have set up a place for human refugees. Their leader is Ulthane Blackhammer, and after seeing how woefully unprepared the humans were for the war that came to Earth, he decided to put his considerable strength toward protecting them. When he first saw Fury, he had thought the council had sent her there for the same reason, but she makes it known that she's only on Earth to deal with the deadly sins. So Ulthane offers to use his considerable blacksmithing skills to enhance Fury's equipment if she sends any human she sees on her travels to his sanctuary. He has a device that will teleport them straight to Haven if they touch it, so Fury takes it and agrees to help him out. It's a good thing that she decides to work with him because Ulthane knows where Wrath, another member of the Deadly Sins, is hiding out. There's a place beneath the city called the Nether where Wrath is holding up, so that's her next stop. The Nether is infested with all types of creatures, and Wrath isn't the only one of the sins that's made his home there. Sloth is there too, but Fury isn't stupid enough to try and fight them both at the same time, so she hunts down Wrath first. He's in the middle of fighting a group of angels when she sees him, and after he brutally massacres them all, Fury jumps in to put him down. Wrath is a lot stronger than Envy was, so to even the playing field, Fury summons her horse Rampage. But there's a problem. The horse shows up with a very big angel spear sticking out of his body. Seeing as how her horse is pretty much the only thing that she cares about, Fury goes to check on him. That turns out to be a mistake. Wrath takes the opportunity to impale Fury, but before she passes out, she breaks the blade off and stabs Wrath in the face. As she's fading away from her injuries, a portal opens and drags her somewhere far away from the Nether. When she wakes up, she sees a really big guy with a box chained to his back talking to an angel and a demon who've gotten tired of fighting in the never-ending war between heaven and hell. Since they're immortal, they can't exactly retire, but whoever this Lord of Hollows is, he's powerful enough to consume their souls in a way that will stop them from ever being reborn. The Hollows is a realm that's not all that pleasant, but the Lord of Hollows rules it and he knows a few things. He's pretty sure that the war that's going on is not what the Horseman thinks. The Charred Council is working on something, and they're using Fury to help push it along. Fury has a pretty one-track mind, and all she's thinking about is stopping the sin so she can prove that she's strong enough to lead the Horsemen. The Lord of Hollows doesn't think that she understands what true strength is, but he decides to help her by giving her some power from his realm. It's not out of the goodness of his heart, though. He wants her to add a demon named Avarice to her hit list. He's as much of a threat to the balance as the sins are, and the Hollow Lord wants Fury to bring Avarice's soul to him. She promises to think about it, but she's more interested in finding out who killed her horse. When she gets out of the Hollow, she stumbles across Avarice's horde, so she does her job and captures another sin. Once she's added Avarice to her collection, the Lord of Hollows summons her back and gives her another tool to use before throwing her out of his realm without answering any of her questions. Since Wrath is not where she left him, Fury goes to test out her new powers on Sloth, who hasn't moved from the spot where she last saw him. That kind of fits since he's not exactly the most active member of the Sins. That doesn't mean he's going to just sit there and let Fury capture him though. But even though he fights back, she still beats him and locks him away inside of the amulet. After leaving the Nether, a church catches Fury's eye and makes her start to wonder just what made humans worship creatures from the heavens. But she doesn't get to think about that for too long because Pride shows up. She's without a doubt the strongest of the Sins, and she's disappointed that the council would send its weakest horseman after her. Fury doesn't take too kindly to the insult, so she attacks the woman, but she can't even break through a barrier. Pride promises to give Fury a chance to fight her if and only if she can beat the rest of the Sins, but she doesn't think Fury is strong enough to pull it off, so she probably won't ever see her again. Since chasing after her won't really be a good idea, Fury leaves Pride alone for the moment and starts working her way to an outpost of angels that she saw so she can ask them in a none too polite manner why one of them saw fit to murder her horse. The angels aren't all that happy to see her and they prove it by trying to kill her. She's not really willing to let them kill her though, so she beats on them until their leader, Usil, stops them. He had a run-in with War before, and he figured that Fury had shown up to finish the job, but she doesn't know about or care about whatever grudge the angel has with her brother. Usil also recognizes the weapons that the Lord of Hollows gave to Fury, so if she's not there for her brother, he figures that she must be there to claim the souls of his angels for the Lord of Hollows. When Fury tells him that she's only there because his people killed her horse, he makes it pretty clear that he doesn't have the time or resources to make trouble with the horsemen. So if someone is plotting against her and her brothers, it wasn't any of his people. But since she's there, he could use her help, and he might be able to help her in return. His angels have been being killed and resurrected into undead monstrosities. The same thing has been happening to some demons, so they aren't the ones behind it. The only creature that Usil knows of that can corrupt both angels and demons is lust. Under normal circumstances, that sin has never had that much power, but there's a rumor that an unknown demon has given lust a serious power boost. With her having the power to corrupt the minds of angels and demons, it makes it pretty difficult for any of Usil's people to deal with her, But Fury shouldn't have a problem with it. If she handles her, she'll have made an ally out of the angel, one that'll put all of his resources into finding out who is trying to get rid of her and her family. After cutting a path through Lust's army of undead and having a run-in with Gluttony, who also seems to have more power than he should have, Fury comes face to face with Lust and starts to do what she does best. Lucille obviously didn't have the patience to sit back and let Fury deal with the sin, because he shows up to help and is immediately corrupted and joins the fight on Lust's side. Lucky for him, the mind control ends when Fury finishes off Lust, who tries to bargain for her life by telling Fury where Envy is hiding. She didn't realize that Fury had already captured Envy, not like she would have taken the deal anyway. Lucille apologizes for making things harder, and Fury, who has been getting a bit more understanding since she's been interacting with people, forgive him. This time, this mission of hers is starting to help her realize that she can't serve the balance if her own emotions aren't balanced, and her mental state was anything but balanced before. That doesn't mean that she won't beat down people who need it, and enjoy it while she does it, but she wants to be more than a mindless savage. She just doesn't know what she actually wants to be. With another sin beaten, the Lord of Hollows summons Fury back to his realm. He obviously has something that he wants Fury to understand about what's really going on in the world, but he's not gonna outright tell her. Instead, he gives her another tool to use and sends her back to continue her mission. She finds Gluttony and attacks him, but he flees deep underwater. Breathing underwater isn't exactly a problem for her, so she dives in after him. When she finally catches up to him, he makes the mistake of showing her the remains of his last meal. It was her horse. Because of this, she makes his death a lot more painful than the others. The Lord of Hollows summons her back yet again, but he seems off this time. He gives Fury one last weapon to use and tells her that the next time they interact, only one of them will survive. She doesn't know what he means by that, since she doubts he's been helping her all of this time just to try and kill her. But he did tell her that she'll find out the truth if she keeps hunting for the sins, so she heads off to hunt down Wrath so they can have their rematch. Wrath's domain is set up right next to the fortress of Avarice, who the Lord of Hollows asked Fury to kill. Before she gets to stabbing the demon, she wants to know why the Lord of Hollows wants him dead. Avarice is in the process of building a fortress for a very powerful demon who he thinks is strong enough to win the war and take over. He plans on being this demon's right-hand man, but the Lord of Hollows wants to stop this unnamed individual from taking over since he thinks that'll be very bad for everyone. Avarice claims that the Hollow Lord is trying to set himself up as the god of the world, so he can end the cycle of war for good by turning all of the realms into a place like the Hollow, where even immortals can be killed permanently. Since that goes against the balance that Fury serves, Avarice thinks that she should leave him alone and go and kill the Hollow Lord instead. But the Lord of Hollows has been helping her, and she doesn't know this guy, or the master that he serves, so she kills him and takes his soul before heading off to deal with Wrath. Wrath gets stronger the angrier and more bloodthirsty the people around him get, which is why he has so many angels and demons fighting around him all the time. Under normal circumstances, he'd be able to draw a lot of power from Fury, but she's so calm this go around that Wrath can't draw any strength from her, so he loses the fight and joins the other sins inside of the amulet. With all of the sins aside from pride being finished, Fury goes back to the Lord of Hollows to find out what his true motives are. He's about to ascend into something new, and he lets Fury know that this will be the last chance she has to kill him. She actually trusts him now, so she doesn't plan on killing him at all. Because of that, he tells her his whole story. He used to be a part of the Charred Council. He worked to maintain the balance because he believed in it, but after eons of being on the council, he realized that they never considered humans all that important to the balance, so they ignored them and focused on policing heaven and hell. They considered them to be nothing more than hairless apes, but humans were meant to be way more than that. They were supposed to be the balance between all worlds. That's what they would have evolved into if they were given the chance, but someone is trying to stop that from ever happening. That's why the apocalypse was triggered early. The council let all this happen. The Lord of Hollows is positive of that, but he doesn't have any proof, so he got ready for it on his own by collecting the souls of angels, demons, and humans. That way he could use them to speedrun humans to their true potential. He's the vessel for all of that power, and he's been building Fury up so she could be the guardian of it. Now that she knows the truth, the Lord of Hollows puts all of the power he stored into a stone sigil and vanishes, leaving the relic for Fury, who heads off to finish the last of the sins. Pride proves herself to be the strongest, but Fury has gotten way stronger than she was the last time they fought, and she comes out ahead in their battle. Before she dies, Pride confirms what the Lord of Hollows said about the council not serving the balance. In fact, they were the ones who unleashed the 7 deadly sins in the first place. Without any humans around for them to corrupt, they were never any real threat to the order of things, so the council never should have sent the horsemen after them. Fury wants Pride to tell her everything she knows about what's really going on, but before she gets the chance, the Watcher, who's been with Fury from the very beginning, reveals that she's actually the real Envy. She snatches the amulet, absorbs Pride, and gives herself the power of all of the captured sins. The Charred Council was behind their release, and they let them out because they're trying to kill all of the sins and the horsemen. Envy figured out their plan early, took the form of a Watcher, and used Fury to gather the power of the other sins for her. That way she could steal it and make herself strong enough to destroy the council, giving her free reign of the earth. She kicks Fury off of the side of the building and leaves to take on the council. Fury wakes up back in Haven with one of the humans watching over her. Since she had saved so many of them on her trip, they decided to return the favor. But she's not really happy that she got saved since she got beaten by Envy and doesn't have any way to get off of Earth to get her rematch. Ulthane had already been working on that problem. Makers make things, it's in their name, and he made a portal that will take Fury wherever she wants to go. What she wants is to go and beat Envy and make the council pay for turning on them, so that's where the portal takes her. Envy is in the middle of attacking the council when she arrives, and despite the fact that Envy is holding the power of all of the sins, Fury puts her down and seals her up too before turning her sights on the council. Envy had caught them before they had the chance to prepare, but Fury's fight gave them a chance to focus their power, and they turn it all on her. She would have died, but the artifact that the Lord of Hollows left for her is strong enough to push them back. They want it since the thing has the power to destroy them, but Fury hops back into the portal and escapes before they can take it. When she gets back to Haven, things have gotten bad. Demons are attacking the place, possibly with the guidance of the council, so she lets the Makers know that if they had a plan to save the humans, they had better do it now. Ulthane had made the portal able to go more than one place because it would have been pretty stupid not to do that. But sending the humans off to hide in an unknown world without a protector would be just as bad as leaving them to the demons. That job belongs to Fury, even though she isn't all that excited about it. So the Makers hold off the demons while Fury leads the humans away. Before she leaves, she asks Ulthane to help her brother War if he gets the chance, because he'll need it to prove his innocence. He agrees, but she still doesn't feel right about leaving them to fight alone, until she realizes that one of the humans had been Strife all along. Knowing that he's fighting with the Makers, she heads off to protect the remnants of humanity until they're strong enough to change the course of the war between heaven and hell. This concludes the story of Darksiders 3. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, comment, share it, and subscribe. Grab a copy of my novel on your way out, and I'll see you all next time.